السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. حياكم الله. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا. كيف حالكم؟ How's everyone? بسم الله. حياكم الله وإياكم. It's good to be back after a little break. طيب، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد على آله وصحبه أجمعين. حياكم الله وإياكم. أهلا وسهلا مرحبا everyone. I hope you had a good few days, good weekend. And today's session, Bismillah al-Kareem, is going to be concise, to the point, and we'll try and do uh, these kind of sessions more often because all of you are working on the guided expression exercises, and I want to comment on the learning opportunities and the common mistakes that students are making. And initially, I was thinking of recording a separate video, 15-minute video, and then posting it on the channel. However, I find myself that I come more to life when I'm doing a live class in person. So I thought to myself, instead of recording the 10-15-minute video all by myself, I might as well just do a quick live session. Doesn't matter how long it lasts, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But the point being that I explain what the common mistakes are and we learn from those learning opportunities. طيب. But before I do that, because of the long break and because of the many new developments that are going to be happening, I want to mention a few things, inshallah ta'ala. First, regarding the quiz, of course, we had our final session on Friday. I said I'm going to take 2 days off. Turned out to be 3 days. And I really started to work on things since today, really. I mean, yesterday was quite slow. So based on that, the quiz is not ready, but hopefully it will be ready by tomorrow. And the reason why creating the quiz this particular time takes longer is because what you need to know is that the quiz, like I did last time, I want to give you the opportunity to have multiple attempts. Okay? Why? Because even though I've given you all the resources, the flashcards and the review and everything, it could be that you thought you were ready, but then you do the quiz and you find out that you need to revise more. Now, I encourage that by all means. Why would I want to discourage a student from revising more, spending more effort in revising and getting better and improving his skills and strengthening his memorization of the words? That's a good thing. I want to encourage that. So for that reason, instead of having just one attempt exam or quiz, like a lot of people they do, I like to give the students multiple attempts. But the issue is this. Last time, we made just about enough questions for the quiz, which means the second time you do your attempt, you're going to have the same questions. Now, that's a problem. Why is that a problem? Because, number one, it could be that you're answering the question correctly, not because you remember or because you've revised, but because you have just found out the answer after you submitted the quiz. So for that reason, what we're doing, inshallah, is we are making a big question bank. All right? So that every time you attempt the quiz again, you'll get new questions. So I don't want the quiz to turn into some kind of revision material. The quiz is not for you to revise. The resources are for you to revise. The quiz is for you to test yourself and for you to attempt when you're ready. Okay? So that's why taking the quiz is taking a little bit longer. Someone saying, Ustad, can you please not keep deadlines? As some students who are working and have small kids, sometimes we can't do it on time. To be honest, I haven't kept the deadline. Uh, I actually extended the deadline. Those of you that remember, I had a similar request. People said, Ustad, we can't do the quiz. Can you add another day? I added another day. So at the end of the day, there has to be a deadline at the end of the day, you know? Otherwise, the opposite is true, which is that if we don't keep deadlines, what's going to happen is people won't take the course or the program seriously. There won't be that pressure or the incentive to do things on time. Of course, it might not work for everyone. People might have things coming up, but my promise to you is that this is, inshallah ta'ala, if Allah gives us life, that this is not the final vocabulary challenge or grammar challenge. This Arabic Accelerator program is going to be something regular, inshallah, that is going to happen regularly. So even if you can't make it this time, inshallah ta'ala, you can be on time and you can keep up next time. But we're trying to get a balance here between having a deadline so that you have the impetus and the motivation to do work on time, and also looking after people's circumstances. That's why the quiz itself normally has a 2 48-hour deadline. We increased it last time to 72 hours. And right now, I'm telling you already in advance that the quiz is going to be posted tomorrow. You're going to have, again, 48 hours, maybe 72 hours, right? So now it's the time, inshallah. Type. Um, Someone said, if I'm new to the program, how should I go about the program? Well, the program is not fully over. We've done the first half, which is the vocabulary challenge. And next, we're going to do the grammar challenge. So if you have a vocabulary bank, then I would say don't miss the grammar challenge, inshallah. And there's another thing which I was going to talk about, the grammar challenge. So enough about the quiz. The quiz, like I said, is going to be ready tomorrow. Once the quiz is posted, I'll tell you what the deadlines are, when it starts, by when it needs to be done. And also, another reason why I'm not releasing the quiz is because I'm working on the resources. So I'm working mainly on two things. Number one, all the different review sheets that we have done, I need to complete them because they're missing synonyms and opposites and plurals. I need to add those. And then I'm looking to put all of them in one document that you can revise from. That's one thing. And also, I'm looking to create more games. We never really got time to create these games, but inshallah, tomorrow my priority is review sheets, games, and then releasing the quiz. Okay? Type. Regarding the grammar challenge, inshallah, the kickoff or the official start is going to be Saturday. We're going to do a lecture, a very important lecture, extremely important lecture, inshallah. On Saturday's lecture, I'm going to give you an overview of grammar. Like a lot of people, they get confused by grammar because they're stuck on the details. But inshallah, on Saturday's lecture, we're going to look at Arabic grammar from a bird's eye view. Like they say, forest before the trees, okay? Which means you're going to have the bigger picture, understand what Arabic grammar is about, its importance, the fact that Arabic grammar is a system and not a set of rules. Some people think that Arabic grammar is a set of rules. If you see this, do this rule, that rule. No, that's not how Arabic grammar works. Arabic grammar is a system with an objective, with a purpose, and they're not concrete rules, they are more like guidelines. And that's why there are exceptions to the rule as well. But nevertheless, that's for Saturday. So Saturday, inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to, Bismillah al-Karim, share more details tomorrow. Hopefully the link as well to the, you don't really need to register if you're on the vocabulary challenge. You just need to click on the link you'll get in your email to confirm that you're in. And then just join the WhatsApp channels and join the event on Saturday, inshallah. And then after that event, we'll probably do maybe a vocabulary review session on Sunday. And then the following week, I don't know exactly which days yet, but the actual sessions of the grammar challenge will start. Okay? Right. Regarding the guided expression writing assignments, we are going to talk about the first two assignments that you guys have done for the past few days. Of course, I did not yet release the new one. The new one is ready. I've prepared it today because I took some days off. So Holiday is holiday. Break is break. So I worked on it today. I created a few more questions. So that is going to be posted inshallah tomorrow. And also the uh, the work that you've put forward should have been returned, all of them by now. Okay. However, it was not easy. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, and Allahu Akbar. The turnout or the actual submissions were, mashallah, plenty. Over 300 of you have actually done the questions and submitted their answers. So you can just imagine the challenge of trying to mark 300 questions. Not even 300 questions, actually. 300 times 2, 600 questions. So that's what I'm going to talk about right now, inshallah, what we've learned from that. And also a new approach we're going to employ going forward because, unfortunately, to be honest with you, it's not sustainable. Okay, it's not sustainable. We won't be able to keep up with that because I want to return everything within 24 hours. But 600 questions is going to be difficult. But there is a way around, inshallah. I've got a very new, probably more beneficial and easier approach, inshallah. It's still the same, but we just changed it technically a little bit to make it easier. Um, طيب, so we have, barakallah fikum, I already talked about these things, the resources and the quiz. And regarding the assignment, three things, please remember this. Number one, don't submit more than once. Allah musta'an, I think one sister submitted it 4 times, if not more, Allahu A'lam. Please only submit it once. Barakallah fikum. Don't submit it more than once. Even if you want to correct it, whatever, la. Because that's going to make our job a lot more difficult. So just submit it when you're ready, but don't submit it more than once. Also, um, only submit one of the two stages. Even though I called it stage one and stage two, the reason I called it stage one and stage two and not level one and level two, because I had the feeling that if I call it level one and level two, you guys are going to think that it corresponds to level one of the vocabulary challenge and level two of the vocabulary challenge, but that's not the case. The levels you're in for the vocabulary challenge is based on your vocabulary, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's also your grammar level. It could be that your vocabulary is very strong, but your grammar is weak, or vice versa. So that's why I call it stage one and stage two. So stage one, have a look at it. If you see that it's challenging enough, then stick to it. If, however, you do stage one and you find that it's absolutely too easy, walk in the park, and it does not challenge you at all, then I would say check out stage two. If you find that stage two is too difficult, you're stuck, go back to stage one and don't do stage two. So you have access to both, and I gave you access to both on purpose so that you can look at both, engage, and look at which one's most suitable for you. Because I have not done a placement test for you guys on grammar, so I don't know what your grammar level is. So that is something you have to judge yourself by looking at the questions. Okay. So only attempt one of the two, and only attempt stage two, like I said, if stage one is too easy and stage two is suitable for you. Uh, you're better off doing stage one and learning from your mistakes than attempting to do stage two and either losing motivation or whatever, thinking that's too difficult, and not really it being to your level. So I would say most of you, stage one should be suitable for you guys, and you should only go to stage two if you have fully mastered stage one. Type, having said that, regarding the actual questions themselves, um, for stage one, um, let me show you. Alhamdulillah. Okay, where did it go? Bismillah. Okay, so I'm going to show you the answer now, and then we are going to explain the mistakes. Okay, so this was the question. اكتب جملة صحيحة باستخدام الكلمات التالية. These were the words. Fatima embarked on the plane at 3 o'clock from Riyadh airport. Okay, now these were the answers. Okay, as you can see, most of you, mashallah, had it right. Some of you lost maybe half a mark here and there. I already explained in the previous question how everything will be marked. I said to you that if you don't make grammar mistakes, you'll get 2 points. No spelling mistakes, another point. If you include all of the words and you stick to the order, you get 1 point. You also get half a point for not adding extra words and not adding tashkil. Don't add fatha kasras and dhammas. I told you that. But still, some of you added fatha kasras and dhammas. Please don't do that because it makes marking things much more difficult. Okay. Um, so the maximum points being 5 points. So as you can see, alhamdulillah, of course, what took a lot of time is the actual giving you the grade because we have to look at the order, the words, the everything. It wasn't easy. A lot of what the members of the team that did it. Um, then you have, barakallah fikum, what are the common mistakes? As you can see some of the mistakes here being rakiba. That's one of the biggest mistakes, which is rakiba is the verb that you've been given. Now, however, the subject of the verb, or the person who did the verb, is female. Fatima is a female name, and I chose a name that I'm sure all of you know is a woman's name. Um, since it's the name of the Prophet Muhammad's daughter. So you have to have agreement between the verb and the subject of the verb. So it needs to be feminine. Rakibat. Now, if you haven't done grammar before, this is new to you, no problem. This is what we're going to learn in the grammar challenge. Okay. Then we have ta'ira. Okay. Now, the word rakiba, to embark, um, it can have, how does it need ala or fi or the likes? It doesn't have to. You can use it, but it doesn't have to. Okay. So those of you that added the word fi, okay, like rakibat fit ta'ira or ala ta'ira, then this is wrong. It's not wrong because it's grammatically wrong or the language is wrong. It's because we told you clearly in the instructions don't add extra words. So rakibat Fatimatu at-ta'irata is grammatically correct. Now you can also say ala ta'ira, okay, but rakibat at-ta'ira is more correct in a sense that rakiba already means that you're embarking on something. Okay. Um, you can also say rakiba fi, like Allah said, فإذا ركبوا في الفلك. That's also correct. طيب على أي حال ركبت فاطمة الطائرة. Now, do you add alif lam here or not? It depends. It depends. If you want to say that Fatima got onto any plane, like as if Fatima has got all the money in the world and she just went onto the first plane she could find, then okay, don't add alif lam. But that's not normally the case. You should actually use an alif lam because Fatima, of course, is going to take a specific plane at 3 o'clock from Riyadh airport. So this should be definite and not indefinite. Rakibat at-ta'ira. But so far, these are cosmetic mistakes. The big mistakes, like the first one I've mentioned, rakibat, saying rakib is a big grammar mistake. And the other one as well is في الساعة الثالثة. Yes, so there we have a lot of mistakes. So you have here sa'a, you have thalith. So a lot of you wrote, some of you wrote في ساعة ثالث. Okay, so let me tell you what the mistakes are. Number one, some of you did not make this feminine when you should make it feminine because it is a description. It is a description for sa'a. And I explained that in the final session that we had. This is an adjective for sa'a. So it has to agree. If this is feminine, this needs to be feminine. So sa'a thalitha. Okay, then also hours in the Arabic language, they are definite. الساعة الثالثة. We don't say ساعة ثالثة. We don't say a third hour. لا. The third hour, i.e. 3 o'clock. So you have to use alif lam before the sa'a and before thalith at all times. Any hour in the Arabic language, الساعة الرابعة, الساعة الخامسة, it doesn't matter. It has to have alif lam. Okay? If you want to communicate the hour of the day. So في الساعة الثالثة من مطار الرياض. Okay, so a lot of you again, and I expected this. This has to be one of the most common mistakes, which is adding an alif lam to the mudaf. Mudaf basically is when you associate one word with another. We'll explain that in the grammar language, but the point is this. This word matar is already definite because it has been associated with another noun that is definite. So Riyadh airport is already a definite word. We know exactly which airport you're talking about. So you should never add an alif lam on the mudaf if it is mudaf to something that's already definite. واضح? That has to be one of the most common mistakes. Now, what's the problem? What's the problem if you say min al matar al riyadh? Let me ask you that question. Actually, I need to get you guys on WooClap, by the way. So, what's wrong with min al matar? Then what's wrong? As in, how does the meaning change? If we say min al matar al riyadh, how does the meaning change? I'll share the link with you right now. There you go. Okay, so the writing assignment, this particular one, day one, has been closed. But we're going to release a new one tomorrow. But we can't keep it open because then the submissions will keep on coming in and we will never finish marking the work. So that's why the writing assignments, they have a specific window. When they're closed, they're closed. If you have the password, great. Use it for future assignments, which inshallah will be tomorrow. Okay? It would mean the airport is Riyadh. No, that's not what it would mean. If we say min al matar al Riyadh, how would the meaning change? Let me see if I posted the WooClap. I haven't posted the WooClap question yet. I've posted the link. The question is up right now. I also set the screen. If we said min al matar al Riyadh, how would the meaning change? It turns into an adjective. Ahsant, mashallah. The very first answer is the correct answer. If we do min al matar al Riyadh, then Riyadh sounds like an adjective. But Riyadh can't be an adjective because it's a city. It's not a descriptive word. So that just means that it's wrong. Why? Because again, the most important thing, please remember this. I know it's going to take a while for you to get used to it. It's going to need practice. I know that. But remember this. Arabic grammar is all about two things. Number one, governance. And number two, agreement. Governance, as in some words, they affect other words, right? That's understood, of course. So a fi'l is going to have a subject, it's going to have an object. We get that. But also agreement. Words agreeing and following each other. Okay? So here when you have agreement, like you have alif lam here and alif lam here, and that word follows this one, that now shows you that this should be an adjective for this. But riyad is not an adjective for matar. That's why you should never have agreement between mudaf and mudaf ilayh when it comes to definiteness. واضح? Okay? Especially when they're both definite. Okay? طيب. So you're going to think is نعت منعوت instead of مضاف مضاف إليه if you say من المطار الرياض. Okay, ممتاز. So those are some of the biggest mistakes when it comes to stage one. Now, of course, stage two was a lot more open, which means there was much more, a much bigger window for making mistakes. So this is what the teacher who has marked the work, all of it, this is some of the malhudat, some of the notes that he shared with us. Okay, I didn't get a chance to go over it as well, all of it myself in a extract, but Alhamdulillah, he's a qualified, well-known teacher who's got over a decade or two experience. So, Alhamdulillah, more knowledgeable than me anyway when it comes to Arabic language. He's one of the teachers in Egypt. May Allah reward him. So he said, أكثر الطلاب يلحقون ألف لام بالمضاف, which exactly what he said for stage one, which is adding an alif lam to the mudaf. And I'm telling you, it's one of the most common mistakes. Also, he said, أكثر الطلاب لا يضعون تاء التأنيث في الفعل. He said most students, they do not add the ta for the feminine verb. Okay, for the subject when the subject is feminine. In other words, they wrote ركب فاطمة instead of ركبت فاطمة. Now, some of you might argue, Ustad, but that's what you've put in the question. The question says rakiba. Why doesn't the question say rakibat? Well, that's the whole point of this exercise. If I wrote for you rakibat Fatima and I wrote the whole sentence for you, what are you going to practice on? Right? So remember, this is the point of these exercises. I give you the default. The default is singular, masculine, indefinite. That's the default. When I give you the word, unless it's a proper noun is going to be definite. It's going to have alif lam. It might have alif lam, like Al Medina. If I mean the Prophet's city or in Medina, I'll say Al Medina because that's a proper noun. But if it's not, if it's like a common noun, it's not going to have alif lam. It is going to be singular and it's going to be masculine. Now, if within the sentence you see that this word is related to a feminine word, as in it's a na'at for a feminine word, or it's a subject, the verb is a subject for a feminine noun, it's your job to now change it accordingly. If you find that the sentence has within it plural or dual, muthanna or jama', then it's your job to look at which words are affected that need to agree with that plural and make sure you make it plural as well. If you see that this word that is now indefinite needs to become definite because it's a sifa, for example, for another word that is definite, or because it is the mubtada, which needs to be definite, or for whatever reasons a word has to be definite, it's your job to add the alif and lam. واضح? So some ways, when I create these questions, I can already predict what the mistakes are going to be. But that's the power of this exercise, right? Because that way, and this is why it's going to be useful for the grammar challenge, because in the grammar challenge, when I teach a specific grammar concept, I can make sure that the writing assignments have that grammar concept within the sentence itself so that you can practice on that which you've learned. Okay? طيب. Let me be quicker because we're approaching the end of the session. And I also wanted to, by the way, ask you, I wanted to get you guys to answer a sample question for the new for tomorrow's assignment. So let's be quick. He said بعض الطلاب يكتبون قضى أنا or أنا قضى. Okay, again, it's stage 2 is not acceptable. Okay, so if you are in stage 2, you're attempting to do stage 2 and you're making some of these kind of mistakes, such as not putting a ta for the fi'l that is for the mu'annath, ففاعل that is female, or instead of قضيت writing أنا قضى, as in you're not conjugating the verb properly by adding the attached pronoun to the verb قضيت, okay, and you're writing something like قضى أنا or أنا قضى, then stage 2 is not for you. All due respect, do not do stage 2. This is not for you. If you're making basic grammar mistakes, then stick to stage 1, because stage 1 ensures that you don't need to be creative and you can put all of your resources and all of your thought into the grammar rules. Whereas stage 2 has a level of creativity within it, okay, which you should only attempt, like I said, stage 2 if your grammar is strong, okay, and you're absolutely killing stage 1. بعض الطلاب لا يحسنون ترتيب كلمات الجملة. This is okay. يعني some students, he said, they get the word order wrong, but that's not a problem. This is one of the things that you have to acquire over a long period of time of immersion and writing and reading and listening. So that's not a problem. But this one I have to forgive for now because this is so common. Even advanced students make this mistake. But these two are not, these two can't be overlooked. If you're making these kind of mistakes, go back to stage one. Okay? All right. So we're going to have a new approach. Barakallah fikum. Okay? And that's to ensure that we can make the most of the time that we have and we can post a new question or as many questions as possible every single day. Now, preferably, instead of just two writing questions, I want you to do five writing questions, right? The more the better, the more the merrier, right? But of course, the more questions I give you the answer, the more we have to mark and the longer it takes to return the assignment, which means the longer it takes to release the new one. So I'm thinking of a new approach. So hear me out and then tell me what you think. Okay. Um, Ustad, I thought embark to be past tense because it ends with ed as opposed to embarking, which is present tense. That's why I was confused. Yeah, it is embarked. It is rakibat. That's past tense, not tarkabu. Naam. Naam, it should show the correct answer after sending it. That's correct. Okay, so the new approach is this. Barakallah fikum. Okay, so we are going to separate the approach between stage one and stage two. Stage one, we're going to make use of technology to ensure two things. Number one, to make it easier for you to answer the question, so you don't have to write the whole sentence from scratch, and so that we avoid one major problem, which is students either changing the order of words or adding extra words. We want to avoid that. That's one of the problems that we have for stage one. Secondly, so stage one, again, there's two problems. There are problems on the student side, problems on our side when it comes to marking. On the student side, you have to look at all of the words, rewrite them, yes, and then think about the grammar. I'm going to relieve you of that. The words are going to be there written for you and ready. On our side, the benefit is that we have the correct order of words, easier for us to mark, and students are not able to add extra words. So that's how we are using technology. So I'm changing the question type to a question whereby instead of writing the answer, you are correcting the answer. Okay, so you're gonna click on each word and correct it, and that's much more suitable for stage one. So let me show you what I mean by that. So this is the assignment that all of you, these are the instructions that you're familiar with. Please do read these instructions, they're very important. And before, the questions used to be like this, as you can see. You write the sentence all by yourself, right? But now this is what we have. Bismillah. Now, instead of you writing the sentence, you have the picture again, you have the translation and everything, but the sentence already written over here. But what do I mean by the sentence is written? Basically, we have these words ready for you over here, but they need to be changed, they need to be corrected. So what do? Whichever word that needs to be changed, you click on it and you make the change. Okay? You click on it and you make the change. So let's say, I don't want to give you the answer, but let's say this word, and this is wrong by the way, but let's say this word needs an alif lam. You come here, you go to the beginning and you write alif lam, in Arabic, you make that change. Okay? So this way, for you, the student, you can focus on making the necessary changes as opposed to typing the whole word from scratch and remembering the correct order, because I can imagine that trying to write this out one by one, there are sometimes problems. You might forget a word or whatever. So you just make the changes. Now, if a word does not need any changes, like and for example, we're not going to change it. Just keep it the way it is. Don't change it. Okay. And then inshallah, when it comes to the correction, then the system will automatically correct and tell you what's right and what's wrong and what the correct answer is. So let's say al-yawm, you wrote al-yawm, you add an alif lam when you shouldn't have. The system's going to say to you, no, it's not al-yawm, it's yawm. So this, alhamdulillah, frees us up from the teacher having to mark every single answer, highlight it, and trying to correct it when there's no need really, because this can be out, so this can be automated by using a system, because the correct answer is only one correct answer. This is obviously different from stage 2. Stage 2 is an open question, so a teacher needs to mark it. Okay, so this, alhamdulillah, makes things easier for you, it makes things easier for us, and this allows us now to, instead of asking you 2 questions, we can maybe introduce 3, 4, 5 questions, and the moment you submit the test, you get your answer back. Now still we have to review it. We still have to review it. Why? Because there are sometimes mistakes that are not really mistakes that students may make. For example, some of you wrote, some of you, when you add alif lam to a sentence or a word, sorry, that has shamsiya, some of you go ahead and add the shadda on the ra like this. Okay? Now you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Why shouldn't you? Because this shadda on the ra, it's a phonological thing. The extra ra is not really part of the word. It's just for phonological reasons. Now, of course, that might need some explaining, but the shadda that comes after the alif lam for the shamsiya letters, don't write it. But some of you might still do it. Now, I can't consider this to be wrong. So that's why we still have to review the answers to make sure that you don't have an excuse for writing what you did. So don't worry about that. But the answer that you get initially automatically from the system, take it with a pinch of salt. If you know it to be wrong and you understand your mistake, alhamdulillah. If you don't understand your mistake, then just wait for the teacher to review the answers and return it back to you, inshallah, and then you can review the PDF. And of course, in the session, I'll go over the common mistakes and the learning opportunity we can take from that, inshallah. Okay, so it's automatically going to give you the score. Again, it's not graded. These scores don't matter towards your vocabulary challenge completion or anything. Actually, I'm going to get rid of the score. The score, the grading, I'm going to get rid of it. It's just going to tell you it's right or wrong without any points associated, because I know it gives anxiety to some of you. You think that is discouraging. So don't worry, we'll get rid of that. But it will give you the correct or the wrong answer, inshallah. Okay. What do you guys think of that when it comes to stage 1? What are your thoughts? Is that better? Is that easier? And then we'll talk about the approach for stage 3. Stage 2, sorry. Stage 2, nothing really changes. We're going to continue doing the same thing. Um, so you are going to write a fairly open sentence all by yourself, and then the teacher will review and correct it, inshallah. Okay. So there is a benefit for each stage, right? Because some of you might say, oh, Ustad, I want personalized feedback. For stage 1, you don't need personalized feedback because the system is good enough. Instead of a teacher typing out the same answer 200 times, we already provided the correct answer, which there's no flexibility there. It's either right or wrong. But like I said, we'll still review it to make sure that we get the nuances right. But for stage 2, the benefit is you get personalized feedback, but you're only going to get 2 questions. You can't get 5 or more questions. So stage 1, you have more questions to answer. Stage 2, you have less questions to answer, but your answers, inshallah, will be reviewed and returned by a teacher, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? Ustad, will you discuss past and present tense verb in the grammar challenge? Because I don't understand it. 100%. That's the whole point of the grammar challenge. So don't worry. That's the whole point of the grammar challenge. Which is due to teach you the difference between past tense and present tense and verbs and nouns and everything. Now we are going to, can we do both now because only one is reviewed? La, please don't. La. Either do stage 1 and enjoy the more questions. Why would you want to do both anyway? Only one of the 2 should be at your level. Do the one that is suitable for your level. Okay? If you are a stage 1 student, do stage 1. If you're a stage 2 student, do stage 2. Okay? No need to do both. Okay, now those of you that are on this call or that are watching the live stream, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, by the way. I always forget to say it somewhere at the beginning. I say it at the end when everybody's gone. Support the channel. But those of you that are, barakallahu fikum, saying to themselves, I don't have access to the guided expression writing exercises. What's the point? I feel left out. Please don't. It's just a few days. The quiz is going to be available. Inshallah, you're going to pass the quiz with flying colors, and then you'll also get access to the guided expression exercise. So don't worry. You're still free to attend these live sessions to benefit from the corrections that are being made. Okay? I know you kind of attempted it yourself. I'm sorry for that, but inshallah ta'ala, you will have access to it if you submit the final exam or the final quiz, inshallah. Now we're done with the explanation and everything. Those of you that don't hang around and answer, have a go at a question. You can hang around, inshallah. So we are going to go to WooClap and we are gonna attempt one of the questions for um, for tomorrow's assignment, a sample question. So the same thing again. You have a translation, then you have the words. Take your time. I'll give you 2-3 minutes or maybe 4 minutes if you want. And then when you're done, I'm going to give you the correct answer and I'm gonna explain what the mistakes are. Now, this particular question, and normally I do that when I'm doing online. I come up with the most difficult question I can come up with. Okay, the online questions are very difficult. Don't worry, the assignment questions are not that difficult. But this one, when you first look at it, you might think it's an easy question. However, let me say this: if someone gets this right, 100%, and writes the exact same answer that I've put in as being the correct answer, I'll be very surprised. You are a very advanced student, mashallah, if you get this right today. I've given you the words, I've given you the English translation, but still, there are some intricacies that I believe 100% of you will get wrong. Okay? Prove me wrong. One particular place, there's a very tiny intricacy, which even Arab natives, I found online that even Arab natives are asking about it. Okay? And then once you guys answer, I'll explain the correct answer, inshallah. Okay, so generally speaking, the question as a whole is easy, but there is one intricacy that I don't expect anybody to get right. Well, we'll see. You'll see. Prove me wrong. Um, Regarding the grammar challenge, someone said they're worried about the grammar challenge. Why are you worried? There's no need to be worried. Barakallahu feekum. I want to remind all of you that these courses, alhamdulillah, they're free, and um, completing this course, your employment doesn't depend on it. Your certificate or formal education doesn't depend on it. Alhamdulillah, if you manage to benefit from these challenges and you manage to complete them and pass them, alhamdulillah. If you don't, what's the problem? Come and join us the next challenge. But I guarantee you that whatever percentage you are on, whatever level you are on, you'll be at a better level at the end of these challenges. So there's no need to be worried, my dear brothers, my dear sisters. Nobody's here to judge you. Whatever grades you get, nobody knows. It's private. Only you know. Right? Absolutely no need to be worried. We try to make things as easy as much as possible, but at the same time, of course, some of you might not be at that level. You might struggle. I know that some of you said that this challenge might not be suitable for total beginners, which might be true, Allahu A'lam. Especially if you can't read, then this challenge is not for you. But Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, you got nothing to lose. At least be part of the challenge, be part of the journey, and benefit from the motivation that you get from seeing fellow students excelling and doing their best and working hard. Taib? So no need to worry, my dear sister. Taib. Oh, sorry, I exited it by mistake. Hope you didn't lose your answer. How do we do the activities? It never works for me on the phone. I don't really know. Try to use Chrome browser, number one. Number two, you deleted my whole answer. I'm so sorry. Really sorry. That was by mistake. We'll start the timer over again. Malish. Okay. How do we do the activity? Yeah, I already answered that question. So try to use Chrome browser, and also to be sure that it's not your phone or your device, Try to use another device and see if it works on there. If everything fails, email inshallah support admin@binabduli.com or the Upskill Arabic WhatsApp number, and hopefully a member of the team inshallah will come to your assistance. So yeah, sorry to all of you for deleting your answer if I have. I clicked exit by mistake. معلش. Congregating the words is such a challenge for me. Like I said, it's a challenge because it's new. But trust me, if you're patient, you continue going at it, it'll become easy. Always remember one thing. Remember that there are 3, 4 year old kids, Arab kids, who are doing that. They're conjugating those words without thinking twice. If they can do it, you can do it. It's not that they're smarter than you. The only difference is that they are exposed to the language, they are hearing the language, they are speaking the language. Initially, when they were speaking, they were making tons of mistakes. They were speaking one word sentences up until they managed to crack the code, if you like, and then speak and conjugate and do everything. So it's a matter of, like we said in the very first lecture, is a matter of consistency and employing the right approach. You do those two things, you'll be fine. Type. Let's look at some of these answers and let's see if there's any of them that is correct. Which I said I doubt, but we'll see. يساعد المعلم طالبه في المادة الصعب كل يوم الأحد. كل اليوم الأحد. Now this one is quite a few mistakes. Number one, we said students, so it should be plural. Number one. Secondly, we said subjects, so it should also be plural. So we're looking for طلاب, we're looking for مواد. Okay. المعلم يساعد الطلاب في مواد أصعاب كل يوم الأحد. لا, we don't make أصعاب plural like this. أولا صعب, the plural of صعب is not أصعاب. Okay. Now there is a rule in the Arabic language, which this person, let's see if somebody got it right. Nah, this person got it right. There's a rule in the Arabic language that mentions that when something is, when you have an adjective for a non-human plural. So plurals, a plural could be human plurals, as in you can say teachers, that's humans. Or you can say subjects, that's non-human. Non-human plurals in Arabic, we refer to them as singular female. Okay, we refer to them, we say hiya, tilka, and we use adjectives that are singular female. So mawad صعبة. So this person got it right. That's one mistake. That's one thing that people struggle with, even advanced grammar students. But inshallah, with exposure, with keeping on trying, you'll get it right. So al-mawad al-sa'ba, not madat, al-mawad. So far, this question is the closest, but it still has that one mistake that I was talking about. He or she added the shaddas as well. Well done. Muallim's got shadda, tullab's got shadda, mawad's got shadda, kull's got shadda. Also, tullabahu. There's one thing that a lot of you missed out on, which is the pronoun that refers back to the teacher, because we said his students. So that pronoun, which if you look at the picture, by the way, it's in red. Anything in red in the picture means that this is not included in these words because it is something which they call a clitic, as in it's something that is joined to the word. Sometimes they call it bound morpheme as well. Is attached to the word. So instead of adding two words within one box, which we don't do, I've omitted pronouns that are attached. You have to add those. And that's part of the test. I could say to you طلاب هو, but that would be completely wrong. طلابه. Okay. المعلم يساعد المعلم طلابه في المواد plural of مادة الصعبة. Ooh, okay. Let's see if we have a correct answer. Okay. Bismillah. Told you. Yeah, I told you. I don't think any of you is going to write exactly what I wrote. Now, some of you are really close. Okay. And it's mainly because of that one intricacy that I talked about. Okay. Now, let's see if you can notice. Who notices that one intricacy? What is the intricacy I'm talking about? Who noticed it? Who noticed it? So we have this question here. Let me go back, by the way, so you can see it. Um, where did it go? Wait a minute before you answer. This is the correct answer. يساعد المعلم طلابه في المواد الصعبة كل يوم أحد. كل يوم أحد. يساعد المعلم طلابه في المواد الصعبة كل يوم أحد. I added the shadda everywhere apart from here. I told you the shadda that is شمسية shadda, we don't add it. Okay. واضح? Okay. What's the intricacy I'm talking about? يساعد المعلم طلابه في المواد الصعبة كل يوم أحد. نعم. يوم أحد. أيوة. That's the intricacy. All right. أحد, not الأحد. نعم. So why is that the case? The na'at and man'ud must match, so they both must have the al. No. If you're talking about يوم أحد, you're wrong. Because يوم أحد is not na'at and man'ud, it's مضاف مضاف إليه. It's مضاف مضاف إليه. So why يوم أحد and not يوم الأحد? Let me ask that question. Why يوم أحد and not في كل, let me add كل as well. Why كل يوم أحد and not كل يوم الأحد? And I ask that because before I ask, let's go back to the question. You know, I told you I'm going to add the default. Now, the default for al-ahad is that it is definite. That's the default. The default is that we add the alif lam, Sunday, because it's a proper noun. There's only one Sunday in the week. It's a proper noun. It always has alif lam. So, yawm al-ahad, that's how it should be. That's the default. Yawm al-ahad. But now normally we add alif lam. On this occasion, we got rid of the alif lam. On this occasion, we got rid of the alif lam. Why is that the case? That's basically the question. Why on this particular occasion do we get rid of the alif lam? So, why كل يوم أحد or كل يوم أحد and not كل يوم الأحد? This is the one intricacy that we have. Everything else I've explained to you. يساعد المعلم طلابه is plural with the ha, مواد صعبة. I explained everything else, but this one I haven't explained yet. صفة موصوف. No, it's not صفة and موصوف. Number one, it's not صفة and موصوف. It is مضاف مضاف إليه. كل يوم is مضاف مضاف إليه. يوم أحد is also مضاف مضاف إليه. في كل يوم أحد is مضاف مضاف إليه. Okay. Now أحد is because it is Sunday keeps repeating and the sentence is not talking about specific Sunday. نعم. أحسنت. Al makes it a specific Sunday, but it's every Sunday, so no need for Al. Ahsant. Barakallah fikum. Because Yawm al-Ahad refers to a specific Sunday, not every Sunday. Ahsant. That's basically the correct answer. Well done. Barakallah fikum. Okay, okay. Before I go into more detail and I explain, what's the difference in meaning? Okay, so what's the difference? Let me duplicate this, and let me change the question. What's the difference in meaning between كل يوم أحد and كل يوم الأحد? We know that كل يوم أحد means on every Sunday. طيب, what does كل يوم الأحد mean then? How would that affect the meaning? What meaning would that have if we translate it to English? If the sentence said, like most of you have written, يساعد المعلم طلابه كل يوم الأحد. يساعد المعلم طلابه كل يوم الأحد. What would that mean? كل يوم الأحد means the whole on Sunday. You're a bit close, but the English is not very accurate. It doesn't make sense. Well, it does make sense actually. أيوة, the whole of Sunday. نعم, أحسنت. Yes, the whole of Sunday. So, if the sentence said in Arabic, يساعد المعلم طلابه كل يوم الأحد, the meaning would be the teacher helps his students the whole of Sunday. I.e., the whole of the day, 24 hours. The whole of Sunday, he's helping his students. Whereas كل يوم أحد means he helps his students every Sunday. Do you see the difference? So when we say كل يوم الأحد, we make it معرفة, we make it definite, we're talking about the whole of that day, Sunday, that specific day, Sunday. I.e., today it's Tuesday, right? So if I say to you ساعد, if I say right now سأساعدكم كل يوم الأحد, if I say that to you guys now, I'm going to help you guys. كل يوم الأحد. It means the whole of Sunday, I'm doing nothing but helping you guys. واضح? Now that's a big difference between me saying سأساعدكم كل يوم أحد, I'm going to help you guys every Sunday. Which could be for half an hour, 1 hour, it doesn't matter, but it's consistent. It's every Sunday, not just one Sunday. واضح? Now, why did I include this intricacy? Why include this level of detail? And potentially, truth as we said, confuse some of you, or even worse, put you off thinking that Arabic is difficult. Why do you guys think I don't know why why I became muted for some reason. Um, so yeah, that was a funny answer. That was a funny answer to humble us. Nah, to get ready for what's to come. No, not really. No. What's to come is not going to be this difficult. The reason I did this is, like one person has put it here, Ahsant, Arabic is very precise and systematic. Nah, it's very precise and systematic. And also to show you that it's more about understanding the bigger concepts than getting stuck on the details, right? A lot of people, they don't understand the concept of definiteness and indefiniteness, right? Mudaf, mudaf ilayh, they don't really get it. Okay. La, you have to understand the concept. If you understand the concept, you understand the bigger meaning, you understand the purpose of these structures in the language, then you will understand these sort of things. And to be honest, what I'm telling you right now is not something that specifically I saw in a book, right? Or a specific rule that exists in the grammar books that I'm telling you about. No, it is just a general understanding of what mudaf ilayh is and what definite and indefiniteness are and what meanings they have. Okay, so there's no specific rule that I've told you right now that tells you the difference between kulli yomi ahad and kulli yomi lahad. No, doesn't exist, right? It's just general understanding. So um, Arabic is a beautiful language, but it's also a very precise language. Okay, I'm giving you this level of detail today for you to understand that the tiny bits in the language make a big difference, which shows you the importance of grammar so that you understand the Quran and the Sunnah properly. Okay, now I promise you that once you understand the system, it'll become easy. But you just need to put the time into it, you need to be patient, and you need to practice. Okay? Barakallah fikum. Don't tell me I'm muted again. Alhamdulillah. I'm not right. Can you hear me? I thought I fixed it. Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, you can hear. Okay. I thought I was talking to myself again all day. Alhamdulillah. All right, mumtaz. Barakallah fikum. Khalas, inshallah, will suffice with that. Allah yahfadkum. I know it's meant to be half an hour. Somehow I managed to add another half an hour to the class. Uh, Ustad, some people say grammar is not a big importance to focus on, and even some native speakers struggle with it, and we should focus 80% of study on vocab. Is it true? Not at all. That's not true at all. Grammar is extremely important, but so is vocabulary. And this back and forth, age old discussion and debate, should I do grammar or vocabulary? I already answered the question. I already answered that question in the very first session, which is that grammar needs vocab and vocab needs grammar. So it's not a matter of which one should I do first, which one should I focus on. It's a matter of how much of each should I do, how much of each do I need at the stage I'm in right now. So we're doing the vocabulary challenge, build your vocabulary level up to a certain level. Then we do grammar challenge up to a certain level. Then you go to the next level, more vocabulary, and then more grammar. That's how it should be. They go hand in hand. Okay? So you should not sit down and learn grammar for a whole year without building your vocabulary bank. Neither should you sit down and just memorize long thousands and thousands of words without learning how to put them together and make sentences. They need to go hand in hand. Okay? And I talked about that in the very first session, inshallah. Maybe you could return back to that. But that's one of the common mistakes that people make, which is thinking that they should focus or start with one and meanwhile ignore the others. طيب حياكم الله. طيب هذا والله أعلم صلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد. I promise inshallah that next time we do a guide expression review session is going to be shorter inshallah. And but I think out of excitement of not having seen you guys and taught for a long time, I think I've kind of felt like I had to make up for that. But inshallah, we'll try and have another session tomorrow. We'll try and stick to the 30 minutes inshallah. Barakallah fikum. Can we do some sarf in the grammar challenge inshallah? Look, my dear brother, the word grammar in English, yes, it's much more general than nahu, what people think to be nahu. Grammar in English includes both morphology and syntax. So when I say the word grammar in English, the Arabic grammar challenge, it includes sarf and nahu, both of them. Okay, but that doesn't mean that the grammar challenge is going to be a full-on sarf course or a full-on nahu course. No, but it's rather the most important concepts of both put together, yes, to give you the ability to understand basic sentences and construct basic sentences. That's the purpose of the grammar challenge, inshallah. And then later on, you build on that by learning a specific curriculum to strengthen your sarf or your nahaw or the likes. طيب. حياكم الله. طيب. الله يحفظكم جميعا إن شاء الله. I missed you guys too. And I'll see you tomorrow inshallah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share the khair inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.